Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another video here. In the next couple ones, we're going to be doing this kind of casual hacking session here, where we're just going to be going into some Hack the Box stuff. This is a box that I've actually never exploited before. So yeah, this will be new to me. I did play around with it a little bit beforehand. But yeah, just kind of walking you guys through it. In this first video, we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're just going to do the recon we need to do, and we're going to go up to the point that we are able to run commands on the system until we get a shell on the system, basically. So yeah, I went ahead, and as you see, I created my directories here. I'm in the nmap one for bashed, which is the box that I'm going to be taking on today here in Hack the Box. And so, yeah, let's get right into it. So on the Hack the Box site, it looks like it should be up, accessible at 10.10.10.68. So I'm just going to ping that just to make sure that it's accessible before we even get into it. And it looks like I'm able to access it, which is definitely a good sign. So let's go ahead and just run our initial nmap scan. So I like to do the default scripts with SC, the version enumeration with SV, and output all formats with OA. I like to call it short, and we'll give it the IP address. So yeah, while that's running, because a really good thing with whenever you're pen testing stuff is you don't want to just sit there and wait for something to run. While something's running, well, you always want your scanning to run in the background. And while that's running, I was gonna say we're gonna go and see if the port 80 is open. And like, if you imagine this is still running, which I guess I can just go ahead and I can run a full scan now, because I always want Recon running in the background if I can help it. I always want to be really efficient. This is really important in OSCP if you guys plan on going after that, is, you know, you have a limited amount of time. 24 hours might seem like a lot of time on the test for 5 boxes, but you'd be surprised how lengthy some of these boxes can take. So you want to make sure you're always making use of your time. You always have Recon running in the background. So to sort of practice what I preach, I'm going to go ahead and showcase that now. So we're back here. I'm going to run another nmap scan. This time I'm going to do -p-. That's all ports 1 through, what is it, like 66535 or whatever. Like every single port. TCP, of course. And then SV, SC as per usual. OA, this one I'm going to call full. And of course run on 10.10.10.68. So yeah, always have your Recon running. When I go back here, we saw port 80 was open. But yeah, if we didn't know port 80 was open, I would just open up a web browser and plug in 10.10.10.68 anyways, just to see if anything came up from there. And it looks like my cursor froze up, so 1 second here. Let me unplug this and replug this. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know why my computer does that sometimes. Like in VMs especially, it'll like lock up my cursor. I gotta unplug it and replug it, but yeah, so I would just go here, even if I didn't know. Oh yeah, I don't have burp running right now, so let me just turn this proxy off, try it again, and yeah, now it looks like it will let me in. So yeah, I just went to this. Now, the way web browsers work is if you don't give it a port, it'll assume port 80. And so, yeah, this shows me that there is a web server here running on port 80. Hopefully this loads in pretty soon. But yeah, let's see what information we got here. It looks like the SV command gave us some further information on this web server. It's running HTTPD 2418, and there is a way. I know there's a way to be able to tell which version of Ubuntu it's running based on this information. It's been a little while since I did that, so let's see. I think if I say like HTTPD versions or something like that. So now let's see if we can find this more information on this Ubuntu version it's running. I believe there is, like, through their site somewhere, it will tell you actually Maybe I should put Ubuntu. That's probably an important keyword. Let's see. Is it in the packages? Yeah, here we go. See, look, you can see based on the version of the Apache server, HTTPD. So ours is, in this case, 2418. So if I search that, yeah, here we go, Xennial. So this is running Ubuntu 1604 Xennial. So yeah, this information, while on the surface it might not seem like anything, you can actually glean further info from this. And we know for sure it's Ubuntu, of course, because of this here. And so yeah, this is why fingerprinting can be a vulnerability. A lot of times, organizations will consider it a low vulnerability, but you can definitely glean a little bit more information than meets the eye oftentimes with this. So we also have some info that there's like a dev site, and I think, yeah, that's what the name here, I think that's where it grabbed it from. So that's instantly like, it raises an eyebrow. Okay, it's a dev site, so maybe they have some functionality on there that might let us do more than we should be able to as an attacker. So we're here, and first let's just browse around as a user, as a normal user would interface with this, right? Let's see what's on this page. PHP Bash. PHP Bash helps a lot with pen testing. I've used it on multiple different servers. It's very useful. I developed it on this exact server. So let me click here and just see what happens. So that takes us to single.html. Oh, looks like there's a web shell, and I'm seeing uploads PHP bash.php. Maybe let's try that, right? Because if we could get access to a web shell, that would be huge, because then we could run commands on the underlying server. We would essentially have accomplished our goal for this video, which is to get a shell on the system. PHP bash.php. Let's see. Okay, maybe they moved it then. Maybe he took it down. Maybe he moved it. Either way, it's not accessible through there as it once was. You see. Yeah, I did type that in correct, right? Yeah, okay. So I think there could be some hidden subdirectories on this web server. So we're going to want to look for that. We're going to want to find out what's out there, right? Now, let's see. Before we go forward here, PHP bash. Okay, I think it took us to the same page that we were on before. It looks like can't load any more entries. I guess that's just for visuals. And then here they have external stuff linked on the side. That's not going to really be of much use to us. But one thing that we can absolutely do is look for those subdirectories. Now, the way we can do that, let me open up a new one. What's cool about Tmux, this is the terminal thing I'm using, so I can have multiple windows here. I can name them. So this is, we'll call this one, oops. Hang on a sec. Let's see. Uh-oh. It's been a while since I used this, to be honest with you. Uh-oh. There is a way to rename it. Oh, there we go. Rename window. We're gonna call this Recon. But I guess this is also Recon. Okay, so as we see here with this full scan, there wasn't anything additional that came up on the full scan. So it looks like port 80 is the only port open TCP wise. Now, going forward, we can also do UDP. And I suppose since we're talking a lot about Recon, we may as well. Now, one thing I like to do is I have a OneNote with a bunch of info on my like commands and stuff like that, enumeration and stuff like that, and I just kept building it up. Maybe use another application, like maybe use Cherry Tree or something like that. But so I'm just gonna go here to consult my UDP scanning command. The one that I use has been pretty effective for me in the past. So I'm going to start with a pretty quick UDP scan here. And with that, I'm going to do, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do nmap. Let's run this as root here. nmap.su, which tells it it's a UDP scan -v verbose, because UDP scans, they take a lot longer to complete than TCP scans. So we want to make sure that we see what's open as it finds it, so we don't have to wait for the whole thing to complete. Now, aside from that, we will go ahead, output all formats, and we'll name it UDP, UDP short, I guess. And then we will give it the IP address. So it's really as simple as that. Don't eat my words this time. But then let's go ahead and open up a new window. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start looking for these subdirectories, like I said. Now, I don't have my usual tools on here that I would use to do this. I'd use GoBuster or dir search typically. And I think last time I checked, GoBuster I didn't have the package for that, and I don't feel like doing the app upgrade and update and all that stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab dir search, because I can do that quickly. So I'm gonna Google dir search. That should give me a GitHub link. And I'm just gonna, man, every time I go to a new page, it disconnects my mouse. That's new, an interesting issue for me. I've never seen that happen. But anyways, yeah, so now we're here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into op. This is where I like to install my tools personally. Wherever you guys prefer to install your tools is cool too. We're gonna do git clone. Wait, do I have git first? Which git? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Git clone, and I'm just gonna give it this, and do this as sudo probably. So that's how you grab tools from GitHub. And so this one is gonna be pretty helpful to have for just the purpose that I was talking about before, to brute force those directories. And if we can find any kind of interesting subdirectories, maybe we can find that web shell still on the server, just somewhere else. That would be the gold mine that we need. And if not, then we'll look for some other means, other juicy information. Maybe there's some other exposed stuff on this server hidden in some subdirectories that might give us like credentials to the system. Although there is no SSH open or anything like that we could use that with. And I didn't see any login functionality on this site, so yeah, I guess we'll give this one a minute to download and install here. But yeah, let's check on our Recon while we're waiting, just to see if it... Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no UDP stuff running on this, but just to sort of explain to you guys, if you're doing OSCP, you want to make sure you always have your Recon running, pretty much exhaust the enumeration until the point that you actually get your shell and root the box or whatever. Then you can stop your Recon. But other than that, like, yeah, just keep looking. Always have that stuff running, because it takes a while, so you want to be time efficient. Even if you have some scripting knowledge, you can like automate certain things. That's also really good to do, because then you can focus, because you want to allocate your time, your energy, your focus on the most important things. And those important things are, looking at the application and really trying to figure out the way in, the foothold on the system and stuff like that. You want to, as much as possible, remove yourself from having to think about like the menial tasks of like running routine commands, routine recon. So the more you can automate that stuff, then the less mental bandwidth that's going to take up, and it's going to allow you to more easily and efficiently look at the boxes on a case-by-case basis. But it looks like this is taking a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut the video here.